Public Works and Transportation Committee Chair and committee members. I am Steve Howlett, Assistant Director of Public Works. And this item is the agreement with Craftwater Engineering for consulting services for the Channel Islands Harbor Water Quality Feasibility Study and Implementation Plan. Recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute Agreement 324-00-386, subject to approval of the final form of the agreement by the city attorney with Craftwater Engineering in the amount not to exceed $735,902 for a 3-year term ending from the effective date of this agreement for consulting services for the Channel Islands Harbor Water Quality Feasibility Study and Implementation Plan. Background. The Special Districts Division of the Public Works Department is responsible for the maintenance, operation, and administration of the city's 50 special districts, including bonded and non-bonded community facilities districts, landscape maintenance districts, waterways maintenance assessment districts, and a maintenance assessment district. Each of these special districts has specific individual authorized services and improvements, including but not limited to park landscapes, open spaces, parkways, medians, other public improvements, and recreation and park amenities such as picnic shelters, restrooms, arbors, and fountains. Properties within each district are assessed through an annual parcel charge for the purposes of maintaining the improvements and other authorized services within their district. The Channel Islands Harbor is an artificial harbor with abutting commercial and residential developments that includes the Seabridge CFD, the Westport CFD, Mandalay Bay Waterway Assessment District Zone 1, and Harbor Island Waterway Assessment District Zone 2. The abutting sections of the harbor would not be present absent these developments occurring. As specified in the formation documents, water quality remediation services are authorized services for each of the harbor districts. However, the City Council has previously authorized American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funding, for this agreement. In June 2018, an algae bloom occurred in the harbor. The bloom was followed by widespread low levels of dissolved oxygen in the water. This is presumably related to the bacterial decomposition of the algae during warm weather conditions. The bloom and subsequent low oxygen event may have been caused by the changes in the harbor water circulation that occurred after the Mandalay Bay or the Mandalay Power Generating Station was decommissioned on March 29, 2018, as mandated by the California State Water Resources Control Board. Since then, the City of Oxnard, the County of Ventura, and the residents of the Channel Islands Neighborhood Council have organized efforts to address water quality issues in the harbor. Water quality data is needed to identify key contaminants and the sources of the contamination in the harbor. To begin this testing, the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board required the development of a quality assurance project plan describing the key stakeholders, sampling methods and locations, sample analysis, parameters for volunteer sample collection, quality assurance, and goals for the project. A critical component of these efforts is volunteers from the sink performing the water sampling that includes the mobilization of the volunteers, scheduling coordination with the contract laboratories, and data collection and reporting. On September 24th, 2021, December 7th, 2021, and March 29th, 2022, the City Council approved funding totaling $1.3 million from the American Rescue Plan Act to address harbor water quality, including the development of this feasibility study and implementation plan. On September 19th, 2023, the county's Board of Supervisors approved $1.3 million in matching funds for the ongoing harbor water quality remediation efforts, the personnel costs, procuring of services and materials, conducting environmental reviews, obtaining permits or approvals, and conducting project management with cost tracking. Craftwater Engineering specializes in providing a full spectrum of stormwater program management and consulting services. This firm was the countywide watershed management programs consultant in collaboration with the city and the county. The purchasing department released a request for proposals for consulting services for the Channel Islands Harbor Water Quality Feasibility Study and Implementation Plan on November 7th, 2023, with the due date of December 7th, 2023. The RFP received a total of 2 proposals, one from Craftwater Engineering and the other from Anchor QEA. The proposals were reviewed by the Purchasing Division, the Special Districts Division, the Wastewater Division, and 2 volunteers of the Channel Islands Neighborhood Council Marine Advisory Committee. The determination is that Craftwater meets the requirements of the solicitation. The evaluation method consisted of the following: the completeness of the response, capability, qualifications, and experience of the firm and subconsultants, organization and approach to the work, scope of services to be provided, schedule of work, the conflict of interest statement, and references. Staff has confirmed that Craftwater meets all of the required city contractual provisions, including possession of a city business license, tax certificate, insurance certificates, and corporate filings with California Secretary of State. Based on the available information, research performed to date, and past services provided by the company to the city, staff believes that the contractor is capable of satisfactorily providing the necessary services. The services to be completed by the contractor are as follows: project management. Consultants shall provide overall project management, including engagement with the city, county, and stakeholders, facilitation of public meetings, and quality assurance and quality control of all deliverables. Stakeholder engagement is emphasized throughout all aspects of this project. Data collection of all current information, site visits, and preliminary investigations. Consultants shall review the current data sets, studies, and reports, in addition to resident and stakeholder input as needed to understand the project issues. Problem definition statement, goals, and objectives. Consultants shall use the basin plan and harbor-specific data to determine water quality objectives, prepare a gap analysis, and provide a technical report of the findings. Identification of mitigation strategies. Consultants shall utilize modeling packages, compile potential mitigation strategies, controls, costs, and other long-term factors such as maintenance costs. Consultants shall provide a report of potential mitigation strategies. Mitigation strategies analysis report. The consultant shall provide both a draft and a final report summarizing the findings, demonstrating the strategies of the feasibility and performance, identifying permit requirements, environmental documentation requirements, cost estimates, schedules for implementation, a recommendation for a lead agency, long-term maintenance considerations, and potential funding opportunities. Then development of the implementation plan. All services provided will be based on available funding. As with all other on-call services, Craftwater will only be compensated for those services they actually provide. It should be noted that the cost of this work, while necessary, represents over 29% of the ARPA county funds assigned to the harbor water quality issues. While these consultant services are necessary, any physical solution is likely to cost more than the remaining ARPA and county funds. As such, additional funding will be recommended and discussed with the City Council when appropriate. Agreement 324-00386 with Craftwater is a new standalone professional services agreement and not an extension of the previous agreement or amendments for the countywide watershed management programs. Financial impact. The total cost for this agreement with Craft Water shall not exceed $735,902 over its 3-year term. The estimated spending plan for the remainder of fiscal year 23-24 is $122,650, commencing after May 7th, 2024. Additionally, the special districts personnel shall code time spent working on this agreement to the ARPA projects. There is no impact to the general fund or any special districts funds. Staff's recommendation to use ARPA funds for this specific scope of work should not be construed as staff's recommendation of or setting a precedence for the priority uses of funds for future harbor water quality contracts and costs. This concludes this report, and staff is available with any questions. Thank you.